Hello everyone. Welcome to this session on understanding the Indian economy. Economy is the common thread that connects each of the citizens. Our livelihood and well-being is very much integrated with the success of the economy. And so it becomes very important for each one of us to get a basic understanding about the economics. Through this video, it is attempted to provide a simplified framework for understanding the drivers of the Indian economy. What's the goal of any economy? Is to improve the standard of living for the people, which means the income level of the people should rise. And what is the measure of the income level? It's the gross domestic product, which is called the GDP. For India, for year 1920, the GDP is rupees 203 lakh crore. There are mainly two ways to measure GDP. One is the expenditure approach and the other is the income approach. Expenditure approach refers to the sum of consumption, investment, government spending and the net exports. Consumption refers to the consumption of goods and services, which could be the consumer durables, non-durables, cars, houses, grocery items, anything which is new into the economy. Investment refers to the investment made by the industry towards purchase of the capital items for production of goods and services. And government spending refers to the spending made by the government towards infrastructural capital projects. And net exports is nothing but the exports minus imports of the goods and services by the economy in totality. GDP, as per the income approach, is the sum of wages, rent, interest and the profit plus some adjustment factors like the indirect tax, income plus the depreciation and NFI. Now these are basically the income towards the various factors of production, respectively labor, property, land, capital and the plant and machinery. There are mainly 5 constituents of the Indian economy: the government, the RBI, the central bank, the commercial banks, the industry and the labor. Each one of them have a separate specific function to perform. The government generates income in the form of taxes, it spends the money to generate employment. RBI, which acts as the central bank, controls the supply of money into the economy. It acts as a pilot for the economy. The commercial banks, they borrow money from the RBI and lend it to the industry. Industry, it produces and sells goods and services and earns profit. Labor, it provides services to the industry, earns wages and spends money to consume goods and services. All the 5 constituents work like a wheels of the well-oiled machine and they have to support one another. As an illustration, industry earns more profit, which makes it more creditworthy. There is an increase in investment, which generates more employment and the income levels rise. This gives rise to more consumption, more production and more profits for the industry. And the cycle gets repeated. In the process, government collects more taxes and makes more investments. This may be referred to as profitability investment cycle. Government through RBI plays a very responsible role to manage the GDP by controlling the 3 main levers: the interest rate, inflation and the money supply. Inflation refers to the rise in the price of basket of goods and services. Higher inflation means for the same amount of money, we get less of the things, that is less of consumption. Very high inflation is bad for the economy. Interest rate refers to the cost of capital or the rate at which industry and individuals borrow money from the banks. A low interest rate means there is more investment and more consumption, which means it kicks off the profitability investment cycle. Low interest rates is normally good for the economy. Money supply. There are many ways in which money supply is measured, but normally we call money supply as M1, M2. This refers to the sum of all the currency that is available in the economy plus the sum of the demand deposits with the bank. More is the money supply means more money is chasing the same amount of goods, effectively driving up the prices and so giving rise to inflation. In a similar way, more is the supply of money, that means more credit is available, which means the fall in the interest rate. So it has the same effect of falling interest rates. So we can say it is the money supply that influences the inflation and the interest rate in the economy. For a developing economy, low interest rates and low inflations are considered to be good for the economy. For any economy, there is an ideal level of inflation interest rate which is controlled through the money supply. If that level is maintained, the economy is in equilibrium. GDP grows faster and the profitability investment cycle is kicked off. This is characterized by rising consumption, rising production, rising profitability, more availability of credit, more investment, and rising income levels. But if the equilibrium is disturbed, then we have problem with profitability investment cycle. Normally there is a band within which if these parameters move, we can still get back to normal within a short period of time. This is referred to as the short-term economic cycle. In this, the economy grows but at a slower pace. In the extreme situation, if these parameters fall out of the normal band, it takes longer for the economy to return to the equilibrium levels. In this situation, GDP falls, and this is referred to as long-term economic cycle. This is characterized by falling consumption, production, investments, credit, income levels, and the falling GDP levels in totality. This is the current situation of the Indian economy, with GDP projected to contract substantially. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more interesting sessions on strategy, economics, and business. If you like the session, press the like, share, and subscribe button. See you for the next session. Bye.